Henry Adams, a young American clerk, had sailed across the Atlantic as a crewman. When a storm damaged the ship, it limped into London, and Henry found himself stranded, without friends, without work, and with only the clothes on his back. For an entire day he had eaten nothing. As he wandered the damp streets of the city, his eyes caught sight of a half-eaten pear lying in the gutter. His stomach clenched. He hovered near it like a starving cat, waiting for the street to empty so he might grab it without shame. But just as he stretched his hand out, footsteps would echo behind him, forcing him to pretend he was tying his shoe or admiring the sky. As he debated whether hunger was stronger than pride, a neatly dressed gentleman suddenly approached and addressed him politely. "Would you mind stepping into this house for a moment?" Henry, startled and wary, followed him inside. The room was richly furnished, thick carpets, polished wood, and paintings in heavy frames. Two elderly brothers, with faces full of mischief and curiosity, studied Henry as if he were a rare insect. They asked him how he had come to London, what resources he had, and whether he was an honest man. Henry answered truthfully. He had nothing but the clothes he wore and the willingness to work. After a brief whispered exchange, one of the brothers handed Henry a sealed envelope. "Open this when you are outside," he said. "Good day." Puzzled, Henry stepped out into the street. He tore open the envelope and froze. Inside was a single banknote, so large he thought it must be counterfeit. Bank of England £1,000,000 sterling. His knees almost buckled. He had never seen so much as $1,000, let alone a fortune that could buy ships and palaces. His hunger drove him into a modest eating house. He devoured meat pies, bread, and coffee like a man rescued from the desert. When the landlord brought the bill to shillings, Henry sheepishly offered the £1,000,000 note, explaining it was all he had. The landlord blinked, called over his wife, then his son, and the three stared at the paper as though it were a holy relic. They insisted Henry come again whenever he liked and refused immediate payment, confident a man with such a note was no swindler. Later, reading the letter that accompanied the note, Henry discovered the truth. The brothers had made a wager to see if a man could live for a month in London without touching a penny provided he carried a £1,000,000 note. Henry was to be their experiment.